Fidel Castro stood as one of the most influential communist revolutionaries of the modern era. Serving as the Prime Minister of Cuba from 1959 until becoming the president in 1976 through 2008, Castro was a dictator simultaneously loved and hated by many. For the latter, he was particularly disliked with a fervent passion by a vast number of Americans and by the CIA to an extreme. According to a former Cuban Secret Service agent who served during the reign of Fidel Castro, the CIA made over 630 attempts on the dictator's life. If this man, Fabian Escalante, is to be believed, the breakdown of these attempts during each American presidential administration goes as follows. Under Eisenhower, 38 assassination attempts were made on Castro, with Kennedy at the helm, 42. Another 72 under Johnson, 184 under Nixon, 64 during the Carter presidency, a whopping 197 under Reagan, a more modest 16 attempts while Daddy Bush was in the White House, and finally, 21 under Bill Clinton. These numbers are highly scrutinized by those outside of Cuba, though, and often considered to be simply propaganda formulated by Castro himself and his supporters. Nonetheless, there is no denying that attempts on his life were made, and the CIA's hands got at least a little bit dirty. If the U.S. Church Committee, which was enlisted in order to evaluate the accusations against the CIA, is trustworthy, then it would appear that the CIA was undoubtedly involved in planning multiple assassination attempts on Castro, but definitely didn't go as far as taking over 600 legitimate shots at it. Furthermore, it is called into question whether each presidential administration even knew that the CIA was making these plans. And despite a handful of declassified CIA reports and would-be assassin testimonies, the answer as to who's telling the full truth and how many times Castro's life really was endangered by the US government remains a bit foggy. We do know that the US had a pretty strong motivation for wanting Castro out of the picture, though, and as one American diplomat by the name of Wayne Smith stated, Castro and his regime seem to have the same kind of effect on the United States that a full moon has on a werewolf. Part of the reason for American hatred towards the Cuban revolutionary was his mere existence as a communist dictator and friend to the USSR. We all know that the United States was no ally to the Soviets and was never afraid to take action against the spread of communism, even if it meant getting into some shady business. It then comes as no surprise that as a communist revolution broke out so close to America's doorstep, the US government became deeply concerned and agitated. The CIA, either with presidential support or without, decided that this new predicament was intolerable. And especially following the failure of the Bay of Pigs invasion in 1961, taking out Castro became highly enticing. Still, assassinating a foreign leader was both difficult and dangerous, especially in an era where nuclear war remained a constant looming threat. Subsequently, many CIA plots were formulated but thrown out before ever being put into action, and as we know, even attempts made never proved successful. Through a combined effort of luck, a general distrust of really anyone but himself, and competent security, Castro managed to survive however many times an assassin tried their hand at ending his life. So, while the Cuban ruler may not have actually survived over 600 assassination attempts, he did survive quite a few, and eventually died of natural causes on November 25th, 2016, at the remarkable age of 90 years old.